Hi everyone, I'm Miles Weston.
And I'm Kerry Phillips.
And this is the Set Piece Podcast,
where we talk about everything to do with football, mental health and well-being. And we've got a special guest with us today now. We just had a conversation off air. And we were talking and we know you as Lani, yeah? Because you're family, yeah? But not the rest of the world know you as Lani. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself. How would the footballing world know you?
Footballing world knows me as Ace.
Okay.
Family, real family, close friends know me as Lani.
Okay.
And then the government knows me as Alana. So it just depends on which realm you know me in. Depends on which name you use.
So what are we running with today?
Lani. Let's go. Lani and Ace. We want Lani and Ace today. Yeah.
I might throw in an Alana in there.
Okay.
How are you? How's things, man?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here. It's a long time you've been asking me to come on this, so I'm glad I could finally make it.
It's good. We appreciate having you, man. How's things been with you in terms of football-wise, in terms of your career?
Football, wow. I will say since 2020, so since lockdown.
Yeah.
Where everything was kind of very still for everyone. Yeah. That was actually the catalyst of a lot of changes for me career-wise.
Right, okay.
Always been involved in football, but I was a PE teacher for a very long time. And by 2020, I'd actually made the move to Canada to go and pursue football career-wise permanently. So I actually left my job. And then obviously lockdown happened. Yeah. 3 months later, I was back home, jobless. So kind of had to reevaluate. Lucky enough for me, the school I was at asked me to come back in a new capacity, a new role. Yeah. I became head of department, but then I was kind of like still had that itch of what if, because I went to Canada. I was about to kind of be on the trajectory of just working in football. Yeah. It kind of got cut short because of the pandemic. So I was like, So I was still itching to leave. And then, since then, was looking, and then the FA came knocking, and then since then it's kind of just been, I've just solely been in football. So I would say the last 2 years has been really different in regards to career-wise, where I've been in a space of the only way you can work in football is if you're in a school as a PE teacher or maybe a football coach on the side, to now my Monday to Sunday is football.
Yeah.
So
Listen, we're gonna get into all of that because I've got to ask, where did it start? Because we know first you started at QPR, right?
Yeah.
But what I want to get into, people will see Lani, and may think, she's little petite and everything like that. But I can imagine, you being in primary school and secondary schools and moving them off the ball, just calm, casually. Yeah. So when did football start for you?
It's a good question. I just love sports. I think that's the first thing is I love sports. So before I kind of funneled it down to just football, I was in everything. Right. So in primary school, I think what was really good, I had really supportive PE teachers. So in primary school, shout out Miss Morgan. I don't even know if she's still living, breathing, but if she's hearing this, shout out Miss Morgan. Yeah. She was like our PE coordinator. Okay. And she had me involved in everything because I couldn't really keep still in the classroom. I recently got diagnosed with ADHD, so, all these stuff makes sense into why I struggled academically, but sport was the one thing that kept me in school. Yeah. So I actually was interested in athletics because I was really quick. Yeah. So, I represented my borough and all of that stuff. And then when I got into secondary school, it kind of was more specific in regards to the type of sports. Okay. So I was on the volleyball team as a setter. I was on the netball team as goal attack. Wow. I was on the football team as a winger. And I was on the running team doing 100 and 200 and long jump. So it was sports. I loved sports. Right. And then in my local area, we had a rec, the cage football. And I used to go there all the time and just play, kick off the front of my shoes and all of that. just play with the boys in the cage and stuff. It wasn't until maybe 14, 15 where athletics started to become more serious. I was at Crystal Palace training. And I had to make a choice because my coach at the time said, look, it's a different type of training. So you've got to choose whether you want to do football or athletics, but you can't take both seriously because they're two different types of training. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, well, I'll choose football. And I think it shocked him because at the time, this is 2003. Yeah. There was no girls teams for me to really be playing football. So he was like, what? Football? And I was like, I choose football. I'm not going to play football. No team. I didn't get signed by QPR till I was 17, so no team. But I was like, I just want to play football. And I just carried on playing for my school team. But my PE teacher, head of PE, Miss Kavanagh, she was a real one. Like, she sent me to my first Chelsea trials at 14. Like, so she was
sick.
like, whether you make it or not, whether this works out or not, I think you've got something.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try my best to help you in whichever avenues I can. And then carried on playing until QPR 17.
So the school team, did the school have a girls team or did you play with the boys team?
School had a girls team, which was like a very weird thing. Not weird, should I say, unique thing at the time.
Yeah.
Because many schools in our area
That's what I was going to say,
didn't.
yeah.
So we used to play, so I went to school in Southwest London. So we used to play against like Southfields. Now Southfields was a sports school, so they had a girls team and that was a big rivalry because the girls were ballers there.
Okay.
And so we used to look forward to playing those games. That was real, like the boys would come and watch that. Like, cause the girls were ballers.
Derby,
yeah, it was a derby. But then what was nice was then when we went on to represent our borough, I ended up playing with them. So now they were teammates because we represented schools in the same borough.
Yeah.
So these girls now, I still know them now as adult. You still see them. You're like, I remember we used to kick ball and stuff. So yeah, it was a weird decision within my household. Like my dad and my brothers were like, yeah, baller, da. My mum was like, football. What do you mean? Like I don't get it. Like why do you want to choose that sort of thing?
Yeah.
But one thing I will say, like my family is very much like, even if they don't understand something, they still support it. So she still let me explore it, and it's paid off now. Do you know what I mean? So it's been good.
I was gonna ask. Obviously, growing up, who was your, well, I don't like to say idol, or your role model in football? Like who when you was young, who did you look and say, he's sick?
It's interesting you say he.
Oh,
because
she.
For me, it wasn't a he.
Is she? I forgot. Yeah, she as well. Sorry.
Players wise, I'm an Arsenal fan, so
I was because obviously I know you. I was thinking that's why I said he. I thought you were gonna say right or one of them. I thought like Arsenal.
Massive Arsenal fan.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Thierry Henry was my favourite player.
That's
in
what I was thinking.
To, like,
yeah,
his flair and what he could do with the ball.
Yeah,
but I always knew I wanted to work in football, which was again, not weird, but a unique thing to say, because as a 13-year-old, early 2000s, there was no career in football for women. But I wanted to do it. I knew I wanted to be a coach. I knew that from the get-go that I wanted to work in football and I wanted to have my own business in football. I always knew that. And so for me, Hope Powell was at the time a really big someone I looked up to because she was the anomaly. At the time, she was managing England. Representation-wise, she came from community that was like my community. She looked like me. And full circle moment, I've met her now to the point where when I got my job at the FA, she messaged me. That was like, I still have that message now. She messaged me saying congratulations. I had the opportunity to interview her when I was part of the Powerhouse project. And she's kept in contact ever since. Yeah. So for me, there was like my on the pitch idol, but I knew I wanted to work in this industry. And so she was somebody that like I looked up to from a really young age.
And as I said, because I know you support Arsenal, I was just thinking, hey, you got Arsenal family today? Hey, Kerry's got a partner.
We don't get many of them. We don't get many sensible people.
Listen, I say this all the time, like Arsenal fans are loyal people. If you meet an Arsenal fan, you've met a loyal person, because it's not easy supporting this club, you know? It's really not easy supporting this club.
So you'd say she was definitely instrumental in your journey and looking up
100%.
Okay.
In the sense of like what it meant. It meant that like it could be achievable. It may not be easy. But she was representation that it was achievable to break into an industry that is very male dominant. But even as a woman, as a black woman, she was representation that if you work hard and you stick to your philosophies and what you believe in, like you can make it. She's a trailblazer in the game for me.
Did you get anybody at that time kind of like trying to shut down your dreams in terms of saying that, you know what, like it's gonna be very difficult, it's not gonna be possible? Did you have any of that experience there?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's an interesting point. I think as well, there's a narrative around being black that if you're not doing well in the classroom, that sport is your thing. Yeah. So I fit into that mold very quickly. I wasn't doing well in the classroom. Sport was my thing. Yeah, let her stay there. Yeah. But because it was something I already knew I wanted to do, there was never a conversation around like, this isn't gonna work. It was more like, this is where you're good. So like,
let's make it work.
Pursue it. So I never really had that. If anything, I probably had teachers who were like, if you want to be on the team, you need to do better in the classroom. Like they use sport as a way to anchor me in.
Yeah.
So like if you're not gonna apply yourself, you're not playing this weekend. You're not doing this. And my mum was the same. Like my mum was like, look, if I get a phone call, you ain't going.
I like that.
There's no training this week.
I like that.
Grounding never worked for me. I was like, I'm grounded,
Yeah.
Cool. But like if you take away football from me, I'm like,
I think that's important. I think especially when you're young, like you can be good at something, but I feel like you still need to have discipline
100%.
in everything else that you're doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I was the same. My dad used to listen, if you don't, you're not going training. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because I don't care how good you are. Like you need to be listening and having discipline. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it's good that they recognize that's what needed to be used, because to get the best at everyone, I feel like everyone is not the same. So if that's what it took for you to be better in school, then that's what it took. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, 100%. And school-wise as well, like I didn't come out with the best GCSEs. And I always say this because people always look at the end product and say, oh, okay, you know, I've been part of the FA, I've worked with England under 16s, under 15s, all of this stuff. But it's been a journey. I came out with 4 GCSEs. I didn't come out with maths. I had to go and retake it. I didn't do well in college the first time. I didn't do well in uni the first time. Like education was a struggle for me. So I think it's very easy for people to see the end product and not know how that person got there. But like I said, having teachers in my family structure that would use football as a thing of like, well, if you're not even going to try and apply yourself, we're going to take it away. I had to learn the hard way sometimes. So.
So then how did we get to QPR then? So literally you said you signed there at 17. So you're playing football for at least 3 years without really a recognised team. It's just like your school team. How did you get to QPR? Did somebody give you a trial or to introduce you to them?
They had open trials, which is not something that teams do, especially those level of teams now. They don't do open trials like that. But I remember they had a open trial. I think it was called the Linford Christie stadium. It was up there, and I just went. Like I saw, but I didn't know anyone there. Like I'm from Southwest. This is like the other side of London. Do you know
West
what I mean?
London,
I'm like, I'll go, and I went and I tried out. They were trialing for the first team and the reserves. And I got dual signed, so essentially I could play between both the first team and the reserve team. And this was like my first introduction into like real 11-a-side women's football. So some of the girls have been there from like under 10s and like were working their way through the system. Some were like me, just rocking up to a trial. But like I was very new to 11-side football. Like, I had AstroTurfs as football boots. I had Total 90 AstroTurfs. That's what I had. And this was like on grass. Like you need proper boots
on grass.
All of this stuff. So this is when I started to learn more about like the other side of the game. But yeah, it was just open trials. Just went, and then they signed me, and I was there for like a year and a half.
And how was that?
What, QPR? It was good. I think I would have stayed longer if the distance. It was the travelling for me. I'm a 17-year-old kid. I was in college. By the time the first season had finished, I'm now in like my second year of college, where it was like, my family is very strong in education, so there's no if, but, or maybe. You have to find the balance for the two. So I'm training Linford Christie, other side of London, Shepherd's Bush size, till like 9:30. As the only kid that's from Southwest, I'm not getting home till 11. Traveling on public transport by myself. Mum, it got to a point my mum was like, you need to find somewhere closer to home. Like this isn't gonna work. And so I feel like if it was closer, I probably would have stayed a bit. I would have stayed longer. There was no issue at all. Like I loved it there, but the distance. But that first season was crazy. Like I finished top goal scorer in my team. I had represented the first team in a couple of games. So that's what I'm saying. Like if it was my decision, I would have stayed. But the distance, and you have to remember where football is now, the support is not what it was back in like 2005, 2006.
You probably was alone, a lot alone then.
And it's not even the club's fault. The resources that they had, like they probably, if they could pay for my transportation or whatever, they probably would have. You got a lot of teams now that will support players with like travel costs or they buddy up or things like that. That wasn't the case then. It was more like can you get to training? Can you get like my home games were in Golders Green?
Yeah.
So
that's
like
far.
on a Sunday, Golders Green 2:00 kickoff. Most people are leaving home at 12. I'm leaving home at like 10 a.m. to get to these games. Games finished. I'm getting home. It's dark. It's all 8, 9 o'clock, and then I got college the next day. So. Yeah, and this is why I say like women in the game, I respect them so much because you wouldn't do that unless you loved it.
Yeah.
Why else
True.
would I give up my as
Very
a
true.
17, 18-year-old kid? All my friends are going out night before. I'm like, nah, I can't. I got football.
Yeah.
I didn't do the clubbing thing at all. So I think my generation and generation before me, they have paved the way for like where the game is now.
Yeah, definitely.
In regards to what I'm seeing, the younger generation, the support that they're getting. And don't get me wrong, there's still room for improvement. But where it is now, it's really great to see because it's come a very long way from like when I started playing.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask as well, what would the structure be at that time for QPR? Would it be like one session a week and then the game? Or would it be twice?
We trained twice a week and we played every Sunday.
Okay.
So I know for most teams, it's the difference of like one session or two sessions, but it depended on how well the women's team was supported by the men's team.
Yeah.
Right.
You would find that like if the women's team was supported really well, then a lot of time they share facilities, so you could train twice a week, play every Sunday. Okay. But if it was a thing where like essentially the majority of the stuff you just wore the badge, the kit, but there was really not really that much affiliation. Yeah, you had to train elsewhere. You didn't even play at the same stadium. You'd have to source that, and if players are paying subs. Yeah, and the subs are only so much. Yeah. Maybe you can only train once a week. And sometimes that's sharing half. I've been in situations where we're sharing half of a pitch. So you got half a pitch and it's halved again, and that's what you've got for training. You had to make it work.
That's mad.
And that's because that's all that you guys could find and afford, and it is what it is. Yeah. So now when you see like, and I'm not just talking about WSL. I'm talking about even lower teams now. You're seeing there's a lot more of that fluidity through the club.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're very much connected. Yeah. And the men and women all train at the same ground. Yeah. And it's nice to see. It's really nice to see.
Yeah. And then you went to Fulham.
I went to Fulham Compton.
Compton, okay. Yeah. Fulham Compton, yes.
So they've dismantled now. And it's interesting. Fulham Compton was, I guess in nowadays terms, like a very grassroots club.
Right, okay.
They weren't affiliated with like, because when people hear Fulham, they thought I played for Fulham.
Yeah, that's just me. Yeah,
not Fulham. This was Fulham Compton. So this was a team based in Barnes.
Okay.
But I will say the 3 seasons I was there, I learnt the most about football tactically than I ever had. So I was 19 when I signed for them. They had ex-Chelsea players. So the players that I played with, like Nat Mara, Tash and that, they played like Farrell Williams and players like that.
Right, okay.
Now, at 19 when I signed, these women, because I wouldn't even say girls, these women were pushing 30.
Right.
So they knew football way more than I did. Like me, I was a pacey winger, loved to run at people. And they taught me about how you can become predictable as a player and how you must change your game. Yeah. Things like what it meant to be touch tight, what it meant to like run down the clock, the dark arts of the game that I was naive to. Yeah. So essentially, as much as it was very much like a grassroots team, like our changing room was like a cabin, a cabin in the middle of like Barnes, and our pitch was just in the middle of Barnes Common. Yeah. I played some of my best football there that has stuck with me in regards to the type of player I then went on to be. And those leadership qualities I picked up was from the likes of those women that I played with. So even now, still keep in contact with them and stuff, and they'll send me a message and tell me how proud of me they are and seeing my journey in football. But playing with them was amazing.
Yeah, I think what's beautiful about that as well is that you just got to think to yourself that if you're talking from your generation, the struggles that there were in terms of like being able to be in and around football as a woman, right, as a young girl, if they're pushing 30, if they're going back to your age, how difficult was it for them?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I remember them sharing stories and like seeing pictures of they had a Legends game recently where it was like the Legends of Chelsea Football Club before obviously what Chelsea is now. And like there was a picture of them in their kit, and the kit's like twice the size of them, like drowning them sort of thing. But they played. Yeah, you play for the love of the game. Yeah, and I just think sometimes we get lost in the badge. Sometimes players get lost in the badge in the sense of, oh, I play for Arsenal or I play for Chelsea, or like for me, like I play for QPR or I play for AFC Wimbledon. And don't get me wrong, sounds great. But if the environment isn't nurturing development, it doesn't matter what the
100%.
badge is.
Yeah.
And so for me, I will always be... If Fulham Compton was still around now, I'd probably go and coach for them.
Okay.
Because in the sense of like the environment and how it nurtured me as a young player, it was like, I don't think I got that nurturing part.
Yeah.
Not the success part. The success, I played in very successful teams, but the nurturing part as that development, I got it there.
And I think sometimes it's interesting that you say that, because I think even like when you look at people chasing the badge, there's a lot of players, men and women's game, that will go for the badge and play for the club that's basically got the badge on there.
Yeah.
But they're on the bench, they're not playing, they're not actually learning anything, and you're really there because you want to say you play for this, you play for that.
Yeah.
But you might find so much more that can help you develop, which we'll go into later on down the line for where you're at now, your career, that you've got from a club that is a grassroots club, doesn't have the badge, but what you've learned and the people that you've met, the experience just shows how important it is to be able to kind of lose that ego, if you will.
100%. And I think what was interesting, when I was at Fulham Compton, we was in a cup. I can't remember what cup it was. We got to the final, and the final was against Chelsea. Now, we lost. I think we lost like 7-1 or something like that. I can't remember the scoreline. But the admiration we got from Chelsea was like, no, you guys are like a real good team, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and that for me, I must have been about, when we got to that final, 20 maybe?
Yeah.
And I remember I didn't start the game. And that I had to learn, because when I was at QPR in the reserves, I started every week.
Yeah.
Like, I scored 28 goals and 18 appearances in my first season. I was starting every week. It wasn't and I started to get like a little bit cocky about it, in the sense of, don't get me wrong, I still committed to training because I loved training. I loved the environment. But I was like, I knew I was on that starting 11 on a Sunday. Where I had to learn a little bit more is obviously when I got called up to the first team, it'd be like, you're getting called up, so you probably know you're not starting. You're gonna come on or whatever. But even then, when I played for the first team, I was playing like, some games I was playing like 70 minutes with the first team and doing well, assist, goal, whatever. So going from that to Fulham Compton, where now you're 19, and it's like, there's players here that have been here before you who tactically have a better understanding of the game.
Yeah.
So context. So if we're 1-0 up with 8 playing in the 80th minute, we know maybe we have to run down the clock. Like that dark arts part I spoke about, I was naive to that. I would still continue to try and run at people.
Yeah.
Whereas my coach, I'm like, why is he shouting? And then understanding that my team is saying to me, no, keep the ball.
Yeah.
Run the clock down. If it goes up for a throw-in, don't run, walk. Like little things like that I was naive to. So that's why I said, for me, Fulham Compton was that development part, whereas I learned more about myself as a player tactically, as well as like my technical ability.
And what I'd say, like, obviously, listening to this as well, you see, when you was at QPR, you said reserves and first team, and that just shows, you see, like when you go into like a first team environment, how different it is, and how much you have to learn. Because as I said, when you was in the reserves, as you said, you was guaranteed to start because you was scoring and doing your thing all the time. Not saying that you can't do that in the first team, but it seems like that team really matured you. Like it really helped you on your journey, because sometimes when you're young, you don't know certain things. You just think, oh, I'm just playing football.
That part.
But then there's things that you kind of have to learn, and that it seems like this
100%.
team like really brought that out of you. Do you know what I mean?
Even little things. So like match day on a Sunday, when I was at QPR, you go there, pitch is set up, goals set up, everything's ready, kits all laid out, like all of those stuff that are very professional environment space, right? Fulham Compton, we go there, we have to put the nets up because our pitch in the middle of Barnes.
Right.
And being 5'1" and being the tiny one, I was one on someone's shoulders,
Doing
hooking the net.
Yeah.
So hooking the net, or like trying to wrap it with tape and make sure there's no holes so the ref don't say like, this is not good enough. Like,
yeah.
those experiences for me Those is what's made me who I am.
Yeah,
Not the rocking up and seeing the shirt
nice
all
stuff and
that's
all
all
that
nice.
stuff.
Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. It's all nice. Aesthetically, it looks beautiful.
Mm.
But learning how to be a team
Yeah.
is things like that.
Yeah,
Like if your
I
net's
agree.
not up, you got to do
Yeah.
that as a team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what that does as well? That prepares you for everything. So you've
100%.
had the nice and you've had the not so nice.
Yeah.
So now wherever you go in your career,
Yeah.
I can do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's
100%.
that's really
So
important.
it was nice, and you have some team camaraderie. So you like it's very much that like you're very proud to be part of your team.
Yeah.
You win together, you lose together, but you battle together.
Yeah.
So like when there are those games where it's at the 80th minute. So now going through the season, I'm learning like we can't lose this game. We need those 3 points. Like you play as a team. Someone gets slide tackled, you slide tackle that person back. Like it's things like that. And I think maybe that's the part of the game that's being lost a little bit.
Yeah.
Because essentially players are trying to get into spaces because of the badges sometimes, and not necessarily about what the environment can do for them.
Yeah.
If you're talented and if you're really gifted, now I'm not saying that this is the case for everyone, because we've heard stories of real talent that have missed the opportunity to break into an environment, and it's not because of talent, it's just because of the lack of the opportunity or being in the right place at the right time. But I do think that, you know, some of the players that have lasted really long or have really long careers have been in environments that weren't the elite environments. They were the grassroots environments. And this is the power of grassroots football and why it's so important that we continue to invest in grassroots football, because
100%.
at a young age, players should just be playing football and learning about stuff like teamwork, communication, all that stuff that then when they get to those elite spaces, when the challenges come, they have a better resilience of how to deal with certain things.
And I would even say freedom. Freedom. Like, I always say this, grassroots football, you should enjoy that. That's when you're playing with your friends.
Yeah.
Go and express yourself. Go and enjoy. Like, just going, getting together and playing. Do you know what I mean? Because as soon as you get into a professional environment, academy, it's not saying it's not enjoyable. It is enjoyable, but you're always playing for something.
Yeah.
Always.
100%.
Whether it's a position, a contract.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? You're
It's results
always
driven.
Yeah. So
It changes.
grassroots is needed because there's more grassroots players than academy players. So you know what I'm trying to say?
So then can I ask them now, going into Crystal Palace, right? What was that transition like coming from? Because as you said, you're I wouldn't say you're necessarily not taking it seriously. You're having a bit more fun, a bit more freedom. Did you go back to an environment now in Crystal Palace where it was all kind of regimented? This is this. Did you enjoy that, or did you not enjoy that?
So Crystal Palace was the first time I stopped enjoying football, and I fell out of the game for maybe a year or so. So after Fulham Compton, again, I'm playing with women. So their lives were changing. So things like marriage, children, all that stuff. So the team that I came into started to just fall apart. And not because we didn't want to play, it's because people
Things
now
happen.
have
Yeah.
other stuff. So how old was I at that point? Like 22. At 22, I'm like, the core of my team that I used to play with are going off to do other things. So it's not really the same core. So the team just kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Which was fine. It happens, especially with like grassroots, especially if you're not continuously feeding and you don't have like an under 16 underneath, you just have the one team.
Yeah.
That happens. So I was like, okay, no worries. Palace were then having open trials at the National Sports Centre. Went, got signed. I think what was really a struggle for me was at the time I signed for Palace, I think they had like a major change. They brought in a new manager.
Yeah.
He kind of wanted to put his stamp on things, which every manager should do. Everyone has their own style, but because of that, they were trying to make me a 360 player. So I've always been a winger. I've either played 7-11 or I've played down the middle as a 9.
Yeah.
They were kind of trying to play me more as a centre mid. Now, if you understand football, you'll know that the pitch geography, it looks very different depending on where you play.
Yeah.
So for me, playing as a winger who like to exploit space in behind, and now you're putting me in the middle, it was just crazy. And I remember one pre-season game, we were playing against West Ham, and they had me playing. And this is my personal thing.
Yeah.
I felt that they were just putting me in a position that there was no one else to play there.
Right, okay.
He kind of had his idea of who he wanted to play as wingers and as a 9 and all of that stuff. And it was just like, yeah, just put her in midfield.
It's like back in the day when like you got a left foot, so you play left back or left wing. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Do you know
like,
what I mean?
You got a left foot. Yeah. Yeah.
So just play me in the middle.
Yeah.
I probably looked like the shittest player there.
Yeah.
One, because I didn't have a clue in regards to playing box to box.
Yeah.
It's very different now where like even me as a coach, you coach players to have 360 perspective of the pitch. So you try and do things like you play them more centrally in so that they understand pitch geography. But back then you were kind of coached in positions. So I just knew how to play as a winger or as a forward. That was me. I knew how to exploit space in behind and things like that. So I came away from that game and like I was so dejected. And I think there wasn't a lot of if you explain to players why you're doing stuff, they're more likely going to understand why they're being put in a position. But when you just say, go and play in midfield, then you come off and there's no conversation after.
Explanation.
Nothing. It was just like you just had I knew I had a bad game. Yeah. I don't even remember the score. I just know we played against West Ham and I was terrible. And I didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, I don't want to do this.
Did you ever go to speak to him about it?
No, I didn't. And I think also, there's sometimes the fear of being the moaner or the one that whines and whinges. It's a new manager you want to impress. So sometimes you're just like, let me just... And also, I was new to the team. I think if I was at Palace before he came in,
you would have
I may have felt a little bit more confident to be like, look, before you came, I was playing da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But because I was joining the same year he signed, I didn't want to be that. The club didn't know me as a person for me to be like to the manager.
Yeah.
This isn't working for me. So I just stopped playing. Like I stopped going training, whatever. And that was like a season of me just not playing football.
Right.
And I was just like, I miss it. But I just knew I didn't want to be in that environment. And I think that was the first experience of like a challenge in football.
Yeah.
Where you're battling between what you love doing, but not losing yourself as well, not losing your integrity of like, I'm not going to just play a position that you're going to throw me into sort of thing. Yeah. But again, I come back to the point is communication is really important. If you're going to do that with players, especially at those young ages of, 21, 22, a conversation around like, this is why we're doing this. Or, we want to develop you in this way, or we think that you have potential to play here. Yeah. You then the player has a bit more understanding as to why. But when they feel like you're just putting me there because you don't have anywhere else to put me, that's a problem.
It's like you're being played, but you're still feeling isolated.
Yeah.
Like you feel like that. And unfortunately, society's put, just being real with you, black women in a position where if you feel like you go to somebody to speak about certain things, you could be deemed as moaning. You could be like the way that unfortunately especially let's take it in the workplace environment, black women's passion could be deemed as aggressive. Yeah. So you've got that to think about as well on the back of it. Do you know what I mean? Going into these conversations, like what do I appear like now by having these conversations? It's sad that you have to kind of leave that space to do that.
And he was young as well.
Yeah.
And that's why it's tough, innit? Because at 22 you're going to see the manager.
Yeah. You're not.
You get what I'm trying to say? Like, like, not saying that you're not, but it is not really. It's a tough one. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's not. It's a tough one to have to go and see the manager and say, listen, I don't want to play here, or can I play on the wing? Like, he could say to you, what have you done? Like, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, 100%.
It could be, it's a
could
very,
turn left.
it's a techie situation.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So then for you now, like finding your way back into football, AFC Wimbledon comes along.
AFC Wimbledon comes along. Yeah. And I smile when I say AFC Wimbledon because I made some of my lifelong friends from Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Wimbledon made me just feel good again.
Yeah.
Again, it was weird because it was like a similar mirror situation. They had open trials because they had a new manager.
Right, okay.
And so I went to the trials. Manager was there, and they were kind of doing like a whole not clear out, but like a whole restructure.
Yeah.
So he had his coaching team, and then he had the reserves and etc. And again, I got dual signed, so I could play between both teams. I was at Wimbledon for, I think, 4 seasons.
Okay, yeah.
Probably one of the most successful teams I played in.
Wicked.
I was predominantly within the reserve team, played a few appearances for the first team, but like those players I played with, like 2 of them got married this year, and I was bridesmaids. Like that's how those friendships have blossomed and bloomed.
That's beautiful.
You know, some of them have gone on to get married and have children. We've been at each other's weddings, and beautiful, amazing 4 years. I absolutely loved it there, and I think it's because now I was coming into the stage of being one of the older players. So Wimbledon was like 24, I want to say, about 24 to about 28, I think. So by the time I was leaving Wimbledon, like I would wear the armband every now and then.
Yeah.
You know, the manager would lean on me to bring the team in and do the team talks, and like because they knew, like they paid for my level 1.
Nice.
Like they helped me. Do you know what I mean? So like Wimbledon, in that sense, like they helped me with getting on my coaching journey.
Yeah,
they knew me as Ace. Like they knew me as the player and the person. They supported what I wanted to do. Like they helped me get onto my coaching badge and all of that stuff. And then you know, it came to like when we were doing like training and stuff, like sometimes I would lead like the icebreakers or the warm up or the start of the session. Or loved it, absolutely loved it. I think what was nice was that when it ran its course, as all things do, there was never no animosity or anything.
Right, okay,
It just ran its course
really
in the sense of it got to a point where I wanted to play first team football. Yeah. And sometimes you have to respect that some coaches don't see you as a first team player. Yeah. And that's okay. I thought I was good enough to be a first team player. Yeah. They didn't see me as a permanent first team player. I was kind of one of those I call it elastic band players. Play first team, couple games, go back and play in the reserves, come back up and play with the first team, go and play reserves. But I was now 28 and I was like, I want to play regular first team football. And so, you know, that came to an end when I knew that wasn't going to happen at Wimbledon. And that was it was bittersweet because I felt that I was going to play there for the remainder. I feel like I was going to like be a player that would 10 years of service or whatever. Sometimes you just have to accept things for what they are.
And you see, like you said, you were dual registered with both as well. So your reserve manager that you had a good relationship, he wasn't obviously so did he ever like speak to the and like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Because obviously you seemed like he was a leader for him. So didn't he speak to the first team and say, listen, like you gotta, do you know what I'm saying?
He did. Like, he really tried to. As a reserve team, we had 2 managers. So we had our first manager for like, I think it was like 2 years, and then we had another manager come in. And when that second manager came in, the assistant coach we had then went on to work with the first team. So he really pushed because he had worked with us. So he really pushed for like myself and certain other teammates to get an opportunity to play with the first team. I think for me, the only thing that was disappointing was the reserve team was like, I think the issue was within Wimbledon, we had first team and we had reserve team, but it was very much first team, full stop, reserve team. When I was at QPR, it was first team, comma, reserve. Now, what I mean by that is when you have 2 teams, your first team take precedent, their priority, because they're the ones that if they get relegated, everyone gets relegated. If they get promoted, everyone can. So, yes, I understand that. But what I mean is it needs to be fluid in the sense that players who then get called up feel that connectivity between the 2 teams, so they don't feel that they stick out like a sore thumb. At Wimbledon, that started to happen for me, especially within like season 3, where we'd get to training and it's like we had the whole pitch, but like the first team would go left and we would go right, and that was it. We didn't warm up together. We didn't none of that stuff. It was very separate, and it became like a hierarchy thing where it was just like we're the first team, and you're here to serve us basically. So it started to get to the point where players would get called over to train with them and say no, and for me that was mad. How your whole thing as a reserve player or your reserve team, you should want to play first team. Because at QPR, when I used to get called up, I was like, what do you mean I'm getting to play with the big dogs? Like, it started to get a thing at Wimbledon where I'd be like, I don't want to go and play with I don't want to go
You-
and train
this
with
is
them.
my team. Let
I
me
want to
just
stay with the
my
reserves.
team. Yeah.
And because we were so successful as a reserve team, like every year at Wimbledon, we won something. I think one year we won the double, we won the cup, we won the league. We were a very successful team.
Yeah.
You was like, well, why would I want to go to the first team?
Yeah.
Also, when they're not very welcoming anyways. Like, why would I want to go over that? And you
I
have to
agree,
understand, women are emotional creatures. We play with emotions. So if you go into a space where you don't feel seen and appreciated, respectfully say, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Before we move to the next club, I was going to ask just quickly: was the first team successful?
Yes, they were. So like they won the league. I think the first season, I think they missed out on promotion.
Yeah.
And we done a double.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of like,
'Cause that's what I'm trying to-
how dare you show us up sort of thing.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. If your team was so successful, would you not go and get the
Yeah.
players from your team?
Yeah,
Like,
and
do
that
you
was
know
the
what I'm trying to
thing,
say?
but it was
Makes
more
sense.
of like,
Makes sense.
like I said, new manager came in. He brought his players that he knew. How dare us outshine them sort of thing.
that's mad.
Yeah.
So it
That's
became,
crazy,
it
yeah.
started to become within the
Toxic,
camp
it's
quite
toxic,
competitive,
yeah,
but
it's
in a
mad.
toxic way.
Yeah, that's mad. Yeah.
And then second season they were successful. They won the league. They got promoted, which they should.
Yeah.
Great, but it was very separate. It started to come, and by like I said, season 3 and 4, it was just us and them, us and them, us and them, and then opportunity came to go elsewhere, and then like a core group of us from Wimbledon all left and went to the next club.
To Bromley.
No, we went to Walton first.
Okay.
Walton Casuals. And what was nice is that a core of us stayed together.
Yeah.
Walton, it was a new project. They had the men's team, but they didn't have the women's team. They wanted a women's team. The only thing was we had to start at the bottom of the pyramid, like step 7, which was like, that first season was an absolute joke. We were winning games like 18-0. It was ridiculous. Because we were coming from playing like higher league, like national league to the bottom of step 7.
Yeah.
But the team, I was first team player. I was wearing the armband.
Yeah.
Like it was really nice. And then like by then I was like 28, 29. So then we had a reserve team. So like the younger players that were coming through, we all trained together.
That's good.
We warmed up
really
together.
good.
We trained together. Don't get me wrong. Thursday nights, we all knew like you had to go respectively to your team. 'Cause you're preparing for Sunday, but there was never a us and them. Like even
together.
Christmas party, everyone's together.
Yeah.
That's good.
Like it was nice. It was really, really nice. I think what was a shame is that like the women's team crumbled because the men's team folded. And usually what happens like when the men's team goes, the women's team has to go.
Yeah.
But that's where we kind of went, and then that's when I then went on to Bromley. I wasn't ready to hang up the boots just yet.
Yeah.
But Walton was great. Like we just kept that. We were just doing a Wrexham. We were just back to back promotion. Kept winning the league. And then like I said, sometimes when you're connected to a men's team, if the men's team folds, more likely the women's team goes as well. So that's what happened there.
And then if we're going to Bromley now, this is the last stop.
Last stop, yeah.
So I don't want to touch on Bromley without kind of asking in terms of like you've got your foundation. Was your foundation started with the same time that you're at Bromley, or was it started after? Like how did this all come around? Because
Ace Development.
Yeah.
No, so Ace Development Academy I started in 2017. So I was at Wimbledon still. So
what I want to ask is like you're learning, correct me if I'm wrong, on the job while you're playing football, and how are you able to do all of this all together?
Do you know how many people ask me, where do I find the time?
Yeah.
God is where I find the time. I feel like if it's meant to be, and if God has aligned it to be, it will be. And you find time. You find time if God says this is what you're supposed to be doing. I always knew I wanted my own academy. But I always knew my academy was going to be different. It was never going to be an academy about the best players. It was about academy to create the best players. And when I mean best players, I mean like the best versions of themselves. So when I started it in 2017, it was solely for girls at the time. The idea was just implementing a love of the game. And the inspiration came from, I was working in an independent school. Absolutely loved the school. The Roach School. I will call them out because I love the Roach School. So Roach School in Wandsworth. And it was a family-owned school. Really small school in Wandsworth. And I think I loved it because we was always the underdogs, because you got the big independent schools and this was a very family-owned school, and we were non-selective. So what that meant was, as long as your parents could afford the fees, you can come there. So it didn't matter about your status or how bright you were or if you were good at sports or not. It was a provision there where we had smaller classroom sizes and all that stuff. And when I first started working there as a sports coach, the thing that used to irritate me was like, it was still very traditional. Boys played rugby and football and girls did netball. And I was just like, how can I be here as a player that plays for AFC Wimbledon and there's no girls playing football? Like, it used to hurt my spirit. And I remember sitting down with my line manager at the time and saying to him, like, let me run it. I was like, just give me a term. Give me a term to start girls football. Even if we get 5 kids playing, just give me a term. And he was like, cool. He was like, yeah. Went to the head teacher. She was amazing. Head teacher was amazing. She was all for. She loved new initiatives. Yeah. She was like, yeah, like they call me Lani there. She's like, yeah, Lani, go on, do your thing. Blah, blah, blah. Started running it, and girls football went from like 5 kids to like a whole. I took a team on a tournament. Like,
wow.
Do you know what I mean? In the space of like a year. And there was a pushback from parents at first because they were coming from a space where they didn't understand girls playing football. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Little things like, oh, she's gonna get hurt. She's gonna break her leg. Like, and then I feel like if you believe in what you're doing, the right people will gravitate to what you're doing. So you have to believe in what you're doing. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the same model that I've done in this school and I'm going to take it away and I'm going to make it my own thing. And I started with Ace, 3 kids in the park, bag of balls, to now we're 2025. My program runs to boys and girls. My oldest kid should have been 16. He's now 18. He's still with us. My youngest kid should have been 6. They're now 5. Yeah, we're on 3G pitches. I have a team of coaches. I have like 50 kids rock up every Saturday to play football. That's just been the journey. So I think because I can see the impact of it, you don't focus on things like when am I going to find the time, because you just see the impact of what you're doing and you love doing what you're doing. So that's just how I've juggled all those plates. But because it's all football, you do have time to slot things in. So it works out.
And I'll be honest with you, the fact that you've gone through all of these journeys, like as you mentioned, like God knows what He's doing in it. Like 100%. there's reasons for you to go from QPR and go to grassroots level in order for you to get that understanding. Because my personal opinion, if you may have stayed straight into like QPR and just went straight to Palace and straight to AFC Wimbledon, you may not even have got the knowledge and the understanding of what it is that you need to do in order to help these young people to be the better version of
100%.
themselves and not necessarily their ability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because football, I think what I know players, when you're in the space of your playing, you think football's forever. Football's only maybe for 10, 15 years as a player.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what are you doing afterwards? And that's where a lot of players struggle, because I think they go 100%, and as they should, into their career, especially if they're playing at a high level, into their career and training and all those things. Yeah. But like, I've got so many friends, male friends, who have played at really good level, now in their 30s, can only play part-time, or they're having to stop completely, maybe through injury, or they're a family man now and bills have to be paid, all those things. But they're lost. Like they don't know what to do next, sort of thing.
I agree. I fully agree.
Yeah, it's hard.
Do you know what it is? I always say this, as you said, like football's like 10, no, I think the stats say average footballer's career is like 8 years, you know. That's average.
Crazy.
Like, if you have a good football career, I think you can go to like 15. Like 35, they say, like you. Yeah. But my thing is, most footballers, I'd say 95% of footballers have to work after football.
You have to.
Because the money that, if you haven't invested it, if you haven't done right things with your money, it runs out. Do you know what I mean? So, as you said, it's important along your football journey to see what you like and to build something. Because by the time, if you build alongside your journey, by the time you retire, you've got something. If you just think one day you wake up and you're 30 or 32 and what am I going to do after football? You've literally got like 3 years to decide or go uni. But if you do it when you start, by the time you retire, you've got something that you're going straight into. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So,
and the women's game is completely different because what money did I make playing football?
Yeah.
I didn't. I remember one time when I was at Wimbledon actually, and I made a first team appearance. I got £17.50. What's that?
Yeah, it's true.
This isn't that long ago. This is like 2015, 2016. £17.50 for making a first team appearance.
Yeah.
So I think with women in football, we've always known we've had to have something else because it was never a financial reason why we were playing.
It's definitely love.
It's the love of the game and the fact that we want to play a sport that we love.
Yeah.
It's getting the recognition now as it should, but it was never for financial gain.
No.
And so I always say to like when I'm having these conversations like with my boys and stuff, I'm saying like even if you're making 300-400 a week, listen, there's so much you can do with that if you invest it in the right way.
100%.
You put it into the right things.
Yeah.
Which is gonna then create that longevity piece when you finish. So
100%. Yeah.
Well, we are finished with the first half of this podcast, but what we will do is go have a quick break. We'll go into the mental health side of things, but there's also a lot of stuff that I'm looking on here and I'm just like, we're getting into that as well because we're talking about award-winning stuff. We're talking about FA stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? Like Powerhouse Project. And for those that don't know about the Powerhouse Project, you got a little bit of time now to go and research it. Go on online, type in the Powerhouse Project and you'll know what a powerhouse is. All right? We'll be back in 5 minutes. For anybody out there that may have heard something in the first half, you might be struggling, you might need that safe space, you might need that support. Feel free to contact the numbers that we've got on the screen here. Like I say, we always talk about basically encouraging people to speak. So those are the numbers there. Get in contact, find that help. Yes, people, what's going on? We are back for the second half of the podcast. We are with Lani, aka Ace, aka Alana. So, what we always do with the second half of the podcast, it's the mental health and wellbeing section. We always ask our guests an important question to us: is what does mental health and wellbeing mean to you?
It's a loaded question. I think it starts with how you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I think when we think about health, people always navigate to the physical side. You know, exercise, what you eat, what you drink, smoking, alcohol, all that stuff. But I think the mental health side, more recently, is conversations like this that are really important. But when we were growing up as kids, what was mental health?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You know, you had feelings and emotions, but it wasn't discussed with like how it's discussed now.
Yeah.
Therapy was a taboo, especially in the Black community.
Yeah.
You only really saw a therapist if like something was majorly wrong.
Yeah.
And even then, it was kept a secret. People didn't know about it. It was something to be ashamed of.
Don't tell no one your business.
Don't tell no one your business. It stays in your house. All them things. So I think it's nice that now, especially our generation, speaks so openly about mental health. Yeah. And I'm not embarrassed by it. I advocate for therapy. For me, it's something that I do. I have therapy every month. I've been having therapy since 2020 when lockdown happened. Yeah. And for me, it was really important to have a Black female, someone that I felt that I could relate to. Yeah. And understand me, not just as a Black woman, just as a woman. Yeah. And the nuances that come with that. Yeah. So yeah, I think when we speak about well-being, it's the whole package. It's not just the physical element, it's the mental health element. But it takes a while. Yeah. I know me, I fall in and out of love with like the gym and stuff. So people will fall in and out of love with taking care of their mental health because it's a journey, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
So can I ask then, in terms of like lockdown, did you feel the effects? Because a lot of footballers and players that are in the industry that we've spoken to, lockdown was a crucial time in terms of football being taken away from them and in terms of how it affected their mental health. Would you fall into that bracket? Did that
100%? Yeah, because I had finished with Walton Casuals December 2019. Okay, because I was moving to Canada, and I was moving to Canada to start like my proper career as a football coach, but also I was playing for a team over there. Okay. So when I moved in January, started working, I was training, everything, and then Canada went on lockdown before we did in the UK.
Okay.
So I was calling home and I was like, Mum, this coronavirus thing, like, is it serious? Because they're talking about, like, they telling us to go home from work and that, you know, in 2 weeks they're going to let us know whether we're coming back or not. Mum was like, yeah, it's been on the news, but it's not really been we're not going into any sort. I said, no, like, Canada went on lockdown ASAP. And I was like, I need to go home. Because I was like, my thing was, I'd rather be locked down in my yard than to be in Canada. And it's not that where I wasn't happy, but essentially, like, I don't know, I just had a feeling that if it was to get any worse, it would be better for me to be at home.
Yeah, you don't want to be alone, no way.
And flights were getting cancelled left, right, and centre. I got on like the last flight out of Toronto. I've never been on a plane so empty in my life. It was a really weird feeling.
Serious.
I got back here to the UK and everyone was just out hustle and bustle. And I was like, what? Living in two different dimensions, because I just left Canada where everyone's in their house. Everyone's wearing masks. Yeah. Everything's lock off. Come here and it's just free for all. But then that Monday, the announcement was made by the government that we were going into lockdown. And I think it was the first time mentally I was in a space of unknown, because I didn't know where I was going back to Canada.
Yeah.
Didn't know what was happening with my job in Canada.
Yeah.
Didn't know what was happening with my visa.
Yeah.
There was no football anywhere at that time.
Yeah.
So it was just me and my four walls. Now, my mum was high risk because she's diabetic. Yeah. So, you know, things like when we could go and do shopping, when we could do this, when we, like, every day there was just more restrictions that were being added and added and added and added. And I think when you say it out loud, at first I was like, get up when I want, eat when I want. But then the structure that we lose, which I think is a human nature thing, that structure, whether or not you are somebody that, you know, gets up really early or you get up late, that's still a structure for you regardless of which one you are. Yeah. Not having that started to take its toll. Then we started to get affected by it. We started to lose family members, and now all of a sudden you can't grieve the way you normally grieve. With me being neurodivergent, like when things like that happen, I need to be able to go and burn it off somewhere. So football is that for me. That if stuff's going on at home, I can go and train and play a match, and that's really important to me. And I think I've always been that way. When my brother passed away, I was 14. And I remember I missed one day of school and I went back to school. Now, most people would be like, I had to go back to school. Like, I had to just have a little bit of like structure, where it just wasn't the focus of the conversation every day was his passing. So I was only off for that one day and I went right back to school and right back into football and right back into sports. So hence why I keep speaking so highly about my teachers, because they obviously knew, but they made sure that that normality was there for me, that I was still training and doing what I needed to do. So lockdown was definitely when I was like, I think therapy is what I need, because I need something to be able, because everything comes to the forefront, doesn't it? Everything that you think about and sometimes that you can push away, things like finances, your career, family, you can sometimes push those to one side and just get through the day to day. Yeah. But when it's just in your face 24/7, because there's nothing else to do but to be with your thoughts. Yeah. That's where I think a lot of people started to struggle. Yeah. And not just me, within my family, like my mum and my sister, they were struggling, and so I do think it was a really interesting time. But for me, it's what birthed my look on mental health. Yeah. And like I said, I started doing therapy, which I was doing weekly. And then as the years have gone on, I've cut it down. I don't need a session every week, but I still have the same therapist from 2020. I still have her now. Right, yeah. And I think that's a really powerful piece as well, because she's been on the journey with me. Yeah. Yeah. I think lockdown was a very unique experience for everyone.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, you went to Canada, and before you was at Walton, was it?
Yeah, it was at Walton.
So did the team fold at that time then, or you just left the team?
Yeah, no, the team didn't fold. I remember going to my manager and saying, look, there's this opportunity for me to go to Canada for 2 years, and I want to take it. And he was so supportive. He was just like, look, Ace, like, if this is what you like, we're gutted that you can't see out the season with us, but and it was so beautiful. It's funny because I can laugh now, but it ain't funny at the time. I only was in Canada for 3 months before I came home.
Yeah.
So I had all this big leaving party, everything,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, "You're back, like run me back my bread, bro." Like
Yeah.
I gave you money to say bye.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're
Yeah.
back, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was really just cut, but everything that I was like my usual. I was in a good job at the school. I was playing with Bolton. I'm enjoying it, and then I decided that I'm gonna take this leap of faith and try something new, and then boom.
Because the reason I'm asking that to find out like how it was at Walton and everything like that, because I can imagine that probably is another thing that kind of took its toll mentally, because you've geared yourself up to leave something that you love behind, and then to now come back to this, it's just like, what the heck is going on? Like, why did I potentially even leave this to it kind of makes you question yourself 100%. A bit more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And like also just little things like when I came back, my colleagues and stuff were getting furloughed. I weren't getting nothing because I left the job. I left in December 2019.
Yeah, that's tough.
So I was on, like, I had to sign on.
Yeah.
Universal credit.
Yeah.
Like all them things.
And
because
that's what
like,
I'm talking about.
It's them things that are like a humbling experience that everything you work hard for can go just like that.
Yeah.
And you start to then look at life differently, and you start to say, like, what is really important?
Yeah.
And for me, like, that's where that mental health piece comes in. If you really take care of yourself and your mental well-being, when these things happen, you put things into perspective that jobs will come and go, clubs will come and go.
Yeah.
But like, if you mentally look after yourself, the resilient part is that like you can bounce back. And it turned out to be beautiful because even though I left Walton, when they knew I was back in the country, they told me to come back.
Yeah.
And they gave me a player coach role.
Wicked.
And really nurtured that player coach.
Yeah.
The school, the head teacher, she slid in my DMs on Facebook. She's like, I want you back. Came back, I became head of department and head of EDI in the school. Yeah. And they created a new role for me.
Yeah.
So, in the moment, I was like, this is shit. Like, what did you do? Like, if you had just waited a couple months, you would have just been on furlough and whatever.
Yeah.
But it wasn't meant to be like that.
Yeah.
And I learned more about myself in that time than I probably had in a really long time.
Did you see a lot of that happening to a lot of the women that you like was in the game with, in terms of like their mental health being affected by the lack of football, the lack of having that outlet and stuff like that? Did you
I think what happened was two things. There was a couple women that I played with that just never went back to the game afterwards.
Wow.
Like they just, and I think it was just like the routine of like training twice a week and playing on a Sunday wasn't happening. And then when we were allowed to go back to football, it was weird because they like the season, they weren't sure whether we were finishing the season or we weren't finishing the season, all of that stuff. And by the time that 2019-2020 season was wrapped up, some of the girls are like, the older, now this is like, this is a full swing moment. This is now the Fulham Compton women that I was looking up to. That was us now.
Yeah.
And some of them were like, I've not missed it as much as I thought I would.
Right.
So I don't want to come back.
Right.
And sometimes when you take something away from somebody, they either really miss it or they realise, actually, I can live life without it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So some of them didn't come back for the following season.
Yeah.
Some did, but like was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So it was a transition period for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah.
Especially if you were maybe one of the senior players.
Yeah.
Like we were, because that was like I was hitting 30 in 2020. So the senior players were like, you start to look at life a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you say, actually, I've given this game 10, 15 years where I don't go out on the weekends because I got a game on Sunday. I train twice a week. I do all of this. For the last 6 months, I've not had to do any of that.
Yeah.
I've had my Sundays. I've had this.
Freedom,
maybe I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to give back that commitment because I want to commit that time somewhere else.
Yeah.
And what I'd like you to do is, I'd like you to explain for those listeners that are not maybe familiar with the women's game, in terms of like the dedication to continue to play a sport without any like finances around it.
Yeah.
Like the amount of effort that you put into.
Yeah.
Even when we had Chloe on last time, she was talking about just like how difficult it was for her to get sponsorship for her boots.
Yeah.
Like that, just even that. And then now you're going into lockdown and it's like, how mentally draining is it to try and even reinvigorate yourself to get back to that passion? Do you know what I mean?
100%. I think you don't miss what you don't have. So as my generation, I'm not speaking about the younger generation, but my generation, I was born in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
We've always played the game knowing that there wasn't no financial gain from it.
Yeah.
So you can't miss that.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see it now.
Yeah.
But I think the things that were interesting to me were like insurance, medical insurance and stuff like that. Like one of my players, my teammates, really good friend of mine, she did her ACL. One of the best centre backs I've ever played with, and she couldn't afford the private. She was on NHS, waiting for months just to be seen, just for them to come. We knew it was her ACL, but just for them to confirm that it was her ACL.
Yeah.
And we as a team rallied together and put money in a pot so that she could go private.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's those things I look at, not necessarily, I played for QPRs at Wimbledon, I never got paid. No one got paid. It was just that time of the game. It was that period of the game.
Era,
Era. It is what it is. But I'm saying it's those little things where like she needs her leg. Now, not just to play football, but just to be able to get to work.
Yeah. Facts,
so, because you're not paying her, the game's not paying her,
so
she has to have a career.
Yeah.
Now, we know when it comes to things like sick leave and stuff like that, you get triggers and all. At the time when she did it, she was like 26, 27. She's a young woman.
Yeah.
Like, she couldn't even straighten her leg properly.
Wow.
Her leg was constantly like at a bend because she just hadn't had the rehab, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
She's never played football again. Now, that happens just in regards to like ACLs in general. Sometimes it's so severe, the injury, that you never go back to the game. But I'm saying there's a life after football.
Yeah.
And it's that part that is like, that's the mental toll for players like her. We're lucky enough she had the support of her friends and family. And like I said, as a team, we rallied around and we put money in a pot to help her. But respectfully, like, those things are very much overlooked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that takes a mental toll, because let's say she came from a space where she didn't have any support at home. We could, as a team, support financially for her to, go private, but the recovery part, we can't be there Monday to Sunday supporting her. That takes a mental toll on people. She can't do her job. She can't, whatever it is that she doesn't, that takes a mental toll.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's the tough, and you see that's when it happens to players, and all of a sudden a player a year ago now like has put on loads of weight and all those things and comfort eating, and those are that's the domino effect for me. And I think, like I said, that lockdown period for a lot of players that I knew, we just started having conversations about like, do we even want to continue to do this? Do you really want to? Especially, you're trying to settle down, having children and being a female footballer, like all those things come into play. So I think that pause was what it was like. Wow, actually, like, do I want to continue to do this when we're allowed to, or do I just want to just play for fun?
And this is what people have to understand. You see, like, the men's game and the women's game is very different. The reason why I say that is, as you said, if someone wants to have a baby,
I was just thinking about that.
That's 9 months, no football.
9 months.
I was just thinking.
Not only that, then you have to get your body conditioned to play.
Yeah.
So it could be 18 months.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Because now I'm thinking back, right, and I'm trying to think now, like, of many women that I know that play football that have had babies.
And then gone back to playing football.
I'm just trying to think now.
It's kind of,
I've never even thought about that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it more women that have the babies? It's more later, isn't it? Then they were kind of kind of retire after that. Because you can't kind of have a baby. You can, but having a baby halfway through your career, then going back is kind of tough because you're missing a long period.
I will say, at the higher levels like WSL, Championship, you'll see with clubs a lot more players will be announcing their pregnancies now and come back. But then the football environment that they are in can facilitate that.
Right.
They can facilitate that they can go off and have a baby and come back, and they'll help with the conditioning and they'll come back to play. Yeah. But if you I don't know, 10 years ago in the era I was playing, if I was at Wimbledon as a 26-year-old, an age where I can have a child, that wasn't there. I probably would have, and you know, a mate of mine she had a baby at Wimbledon, and she never returned back to football.
Yeah, it's tough.
Not just because of the actual physical part of having a child. It's a child.
Exactly.
You can't send it back.
You got to look after
So
the
your
child,
life changes after that anyway.
Yeah,
so
facts, yeah.
things like when you're going to training or on a Sunday, if you're like, again, that support system that I keep talking about, it takes a village. If you don't have that, where are you putting that child when you're at training?
And not only that, as you said, like finances.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
You're not even getting paid to play.
Like
So how do you even do?
So that's the difference
Do you know what I
between
mean? Like-
a job that can offer you, you know, a decent salary,
Yeah.
or you picking up a shift on the weekend for time and a half,
Yeah.
or saying actually no, I'm gonna go and
play football for fun. Yeah.
because I love the game.
Yeah.
But you got a mouth to feed.
Yeah.
Those are the things where I say that's why the game is different. The men's game and the women's game is very different. Even the way we play, even it's different. And I feel like if you're an advocate of the women's game, you have to understand that first. I'm a massive advocate of football. I love football.
Yeah,
But I understand that when I'm watching the women's game, it's with a different lens to watching the men's game.
I agree.
Yeah.
You have to.
And
you have to.
unless you understand that concept, you're always going to be comparing, and you can't compare the two.
it.
It's
It's
two
not,
different
yeah.
worlds.
It's not.
When we had Chloe
Can't
on, I
compare
kind of
it,
just advised her, like, is in terms of like how I see it, is that the same guys that will criticize the women's game and the football being played are the same men that will go and watch the Sunday league game of men's football and sit there and go and watch it week after week after week and not complain once about the level and the standard of it. And it's just like, until you can get to a point where you understand that the level is going to be different, as you've said.
Of course.
You're going to complain about the women's game, but you'll still sit there and watch a bunch of pub men that are watching and playing on Sunday, and the football is terrible.
And you know the thing is, let's see how much men would go and play football for fun. How much professionals would go and play football
as professionals
and just as professionals but not get the pay.
And I think it's
Do you know
also
what I mean?
for me it's a thing of like what you like. You don't have to like something by then talking shit about something else.
Facts.
True.
So,
That's
for
true.
example,
That's true.
cricket isn't a sport that I like watching. That's just my personal. But
Yeah.
you won't hear me tweeting and chatting shit about it. Like, who cares about the Ashes? People do care about the Ashes, so let those people enjoy what they
facts.
enjoy.
It's true. It's
Every
true.
time there's something posted about the women's game, there's some idiot that's talking about, but a man could save that. But we're not talking about men.
Yeah.
Why do you have to revert back to but the men? If you love
Yeah.
men's football, enjoy men's football.
men's football.
You don't
Yeah.
have to come to the games.
Yeah.
You don't have to turn on the TV. You don't have to listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
No one's forcing you. They're forcing it down our throat. No one's forcing nothing down your throat.
True.
It's a choice. But I feel we live in a society where it's very easy to have opinions.
Yep.
Too much.
Everyone's a podcaster, no disrespect.
Everyone's
Everyone's a podcaster, everyone's an analyst, everyone's this.
It's true.
Influencer. all
When you
sorts.
close the door at night, you're just an
Yeah,
average
it's
Joe.
true.
Normal person.
Normal person.
Yeah, that's real.
I was gonna say something, which just come to my mind. You see, like in your career, has there ever been a time where, like, you've suffered from any sort of like abuse or any sort? Like, when I say abuse, like someone saying something, like maybe a fan or someone, like just have you ever gone through that?
First time was like I was in secondary school. This is the first time I ever experienced racism.
Yeah.
Again, I think sometimes until you live something, it's just a word.
Yeah.
And I say that as a black woman, I feel like and we all know what racism is, but until you experience it, you don't feel the actual tone of that word.
Yeah.
Like it's like, I understand what racism is. I understand what my people went through, but until it actually happens to you,
Yeah.
you then emotionally feel what
Different.
happened to your people.
Yeah.
I was 14, 15. We was at a cup game. It wasn't even that far out of London. It was like Woking. We was playing a team in a cup game. Team was all white, apart from our team was mixed, right? We had players who were black, white, Asian. Their team was white. Cool. And it wasn't even the team. It was the supporters. So it was like an after school game. So like, school finishes 3:30, 4 o'clock. They come and watch and they're supporting. Every time I was on the ball, these kids kept making monkey noises. And at first I was like, nah. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just like I'm bugging.
Yeah.
I'm
Start
not-
questioning yourself,
Yeah,
innit?
like,
Like,
are they really
yeah.
doing that? And then I was like, no, every time I'm running with the ball, these kids are making monkey noises. I think what was interesting to me was how it made me freeze. Like, I didn't say anything. I didn't confront them. I just carried on playing the game. But my captain, and she was a white girl, she was fuming. Like, she wanted to fight them.
Yeah.
Like, my teacher was having to pull her back.
Yeah.
And I remember going home and just sitting with it for a bit. Didn't say
Yeah.
anything. And then had a conversation with my mum. Told her what had happened. I think 2 things. The first thing that, when I reflect back now, is my school dealt with it in a way that right now, in this day and age, would probably be like, they get ridiculed for it.
Yeah.
It was very much like, be the bigger person. You're better than that.
Right.
And I hate that. I hate when you're trying to tell the victim to be the bigger person.
Yeah. Justice.
Like, some people are like that, but you're better than that. Don't let it get to you. Like, we love you. I know that.
Yeah.
I know
needs
I'm
to tell
part
that.
of this team, and I don't ever feel like, but you're invalidating how it made me feel. You're telling me to be the bigger person
At 14.
at 14.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you know what I mean?
What?
Whereas my mum sat me down, we watched Roots. She was like,
Yeah.
and I think for her, it's just something a parent never really wants to have those conversations. But she was like, it's happened. I'm gonna educate you
Yeah.
first, and then when you have questions, we'll talk. And we've always had conversations about the world we live in.
Yeah.
And you from the innocence is stripped straight away.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying, like, when you're a kid, you understand the definition of the word racism.
Yeah.
But like until it happens
Yeah.
and you experience it,
Yeah.
like the innocence then gets stripped, and now you
course.
feel the world.
Yeah.
You feel that. You feel
Yeah.
that word
Yeah.
now. Now you
Yeah.
feel it.
It's
And that was the first time. And I've had other experiences, but I think because that was the first time, that's the one that sits with me the most.
What about sexism?
Oh, come on! In football,
That's
100%.
that's what. Yeah, go on. Like,
100%.
talk about that one, because that one, as I said, people, as I said, the men's game and the women's game is not the same, but we know people's opinion on it. So like,
it's the microaggressions that come
Yeah.
go on,
with being a woman in a male-dominated area.
Yeah.
So, okay, I was at the FA for like nearly 2 years as regional talent manager. And I remember we had an event not too long ago at a school. It was me and my team. We're on the field setting up, and this teacher comes over, walks straight past all the females, including myself, and goes up to my male colleague, and he's like, "Nice to meet you. So like, I'm assuming like, so you're the regional talent manager." He's like, "No, I'm not. She is." And you can see the hole that he wanted to jump in, because he's thinking, shit.
Yeah. What about
I've just assumed that it has to be the man that's the manager.
Yeah.
Has to be. And it's little microaggressions like that women deal with on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
The assumption that it's football, so it must be the man that's the regional talent manager.
Yeah.
There's no way it could be the woman. There's no way it could be the black woman. So it's things like that. And I stood there, he came over, a tail between his legs. Oh, I'm sorry, like I thought it was, you didn't. You just assumed that because he's the guy,
facts.
that it has to be him. You didn't come over and say, "Hi guys, who's the
Yeah.
regional talent manager?" That's how you should come into it. You just came in and go, "Oh, you're the regional talent manager. Nice to meet you." And my colleague was like, "I'm not the regional talent manager. She's the regional." And it's things like that. But you get to a point where it becomes water off a duck's back, and that's why you have to believe in yourself and your capabilities and why you're in these spaces. Because if you don't, you allow situations like that to chip away at you. What don't kill you make you stronger. So
But what I do feel from this though is that like, and I just feel like, and if we go back to your altercation with the monkey noises, right? It took somebody outside of your race to see that and stand up and be an ally for you in that period. And this is where us as men, we need to do more within that and show that there's allyship there. When we see things like this, call that ish out. Do you get what I'm saying? It's because when we get to a point where it's comfortable for people to speak and say certain things around you. I don't want to, because I want to touch carefully on this, because I don't want to say if you're not doing anything, you're condoning it, but you're not stopping it.
Yeah.
You're not actually saying, you're not actually making somebody think. And I think as men within the industry as well, if you say you are an ally, because if you don't want to be an ally for the women's game, that's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
But if you are going to be an ally for the women's game, it's those things there where you've got to call that out.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's where the women's game, I feel like, is I think it's helping that there are some men out there that are championing.
Yeah, 100%. But also just let women be, man.
Yeah.
Just let us figure out the game ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
And it's that part. The women's, if you know history, you know that women's football was banned for like 50 years. It was a big thing here. And it was banned because those times, those era, it was seen as, this is not something a woman should be doing, right? So it's like a clean canvas for the game. Clean slate, trying new things. Why does that concern you if you don't care about it?
Facts.
That's just the bottom line.
Facts.
Allyship, I agree, is a beautiful thing. But again, why does it matter if you don't like it? It's as simple as that. You know, I come back to the point of cricket is not a sport that I watch because I don't enjoy it. But if cricket decided to run a new initiative for the benefit of cricket, why would I go out of my way and be like, well, why are they doing that? It doesn't concern me. It doesn't affect my day to day. It's not something that I'm gonna then go and watch. And I think that's the problem. There's just too many people, too many cooks in the kitchen where people are just trying to have an opinion on everything. You see it in the men's game as well. Don't get me wrong. It's just a different lens with the men's game. But I think just that narrative of like, I'm gonna have an opinion because it should be a men's game, and says who?
Well, I think that's the problem we're having. We're having too many people that have got opinions on the women's game that don't like the women's game
and don't have any idea of the women's game.
Like, so it's just like, but what I love about it though is that it's growing. And I think what I love is that, like, as an Arsenal fan, you know, like we're seeing a lot more attendances at the Emirates. But I also think it really is a good gateway in terms of getting young boys to actually appreciate the game as well. Because they're not getting the opportunity, just to be real with you, to go to an Arsenal men's game because of the ticket prices and how many of that. But being able to go to the women's game and see it, we can start getting young boys to realise, because I'm always on the opinion of, and I think I've said this to you outside of this when we talk about like the self-defence class for saving souls, where it's like the narrative of women don't go here, women don't do this, women don't do that is not that. It's boys, stop doing effery. That's the real narrative that we need to be running with. So I do feel like in terms of the women's game, as you say, like it's one of those ones where if you, and not even just the women's, just that's life in general. If you don't like something, you don't have to go on the internet and tell us, everybody, that you don't like it.
That notion of tearing something down because you don't like it.
But you know what it is? In the world we live in now, you know, negativity sells. This is why people talk. Because you know, if someone says something, it's just gonna be, everyone's gonna comment on it. And that's why
controversy sells.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's why so many people, I think, talk on it, because they know that, bro, this is gonna be a big point. This is a big talking point.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of just being nice, as you said, just don't. If you ain't got nothing nice to say, just don't say it.
Yeah.
And I think that goes into a beautiful segue of, like, you was talking about the program that is obviously, you're the talent manager, right? So let's go back to 2018 Football Blacklist Award. You're smiling.
I am.
Because shout out Leon, man.
Yes.
Like, Leon, real big. Andrew DeSille, like Rodney Hines, they're good peoples. Talk to us about that. Like, how did that come about? Or what did you feel at that moment?
You say, how did it come about? To this day, I don't know who nominated me. I don't know. Ace had only been running for a year. And I got nominated because of the work I was doing with Ace Development Academy. And got the email, and I was like, oh. And I had been nominated for the 30s the under 30 list because I was like 27, 28 at the time. The next ones to watch, I was nominated, and at the time it was like a list of 50. Yeah. And then it was then narrowed down to 10. And if you were one of the 10, you would receive an award. And I ended up being one of the 10. So I was like, okay, cool. So I took my sister went with me, went to the awards, received the awards. The first time I met Alex Scott in person. Yeah. So lovely. Yeah. Spoke to her and she congratulated. She was receiving an award that year as well. And it was just nice because it wasn't expected. Yeah. Before winning that award, I didn't really even know about the football blacklist.
Okay, yeah.
And I won the Ugo Egiog ones to watch, and I met his family and still in contact with them now. They came down to one of my events the following year. Like, it was just nice. Obviously, they were on the panel, and I remember what they said to me was the one thing that stuck out with me was that they were like, "We like Ace Development Academy because it's just different." Yeah. And I've always stuck by that. So like we were just talking about, boys appreciating the game. At my program, we play mixed football. A lot of academies, they're not doing that. It's boys and girls. Yeah. I feel that there's a lot of power in boys and girls playing football together, especially at development ages. The boys learn so much from the girls, but the girls learn so much from the boys. It's just so nice. And so like that was the start of me. Accolades and stuff don't really bother me. I know that I think a lot of people go after the accolades. And it's so funny because people say to me all the time, like if you compliment me or something like that, I will say, "Oh, thank you, really appreciate it." But like you'll see on my face, it would just be like, "It's
I'm not doing it for this.
I'm just doing it because I just love doing it. It's not because of the awards or for you to say or for people to know me or to be like, oh." For me, if only 10 kids rocked up to Ace, as long as they're the 10 kids that want to be there for the right reasons, I don't care. Yeah. That's why when I was doing it with 3 kids in a park, it didn't bother me that it was just 3 kids in the park. So winning that award was really nice because it was like my community was celebrating me.
100%.
My community was saying to me, "You're doing something good here, like keep going." And even now, like Leon is just such a lovely guy in the sense of like, I'll drop Leon a message and I'll say, "I just need some advice on this." And Leon will be like, "Let me just check my schedule. We'll make and he'll make time." And people like that are people that keep me grounded in understanding that like the work that I'm doing within football can be impactful, but don't lose yourself in the world of football because I feel that can easily happen. Especially like kids will come to me and be like, "Oh, like who have you met?" And I'll tell them a few names and they're like, "Oh, you know this person," or "You know this person," or things like that. Or like, they'll go on my page and they'll see a picture of me and Ian Wright and they're like, so they do get lost in that stuff. But I have to just bring them back to that. Ian is just a normal person. Ian is a normal guy. Take away all the accolade stuff. It's just Ian. And that's what keeps me humble. That like the success of Ace and the jobs I've done and the clubs I've played for. That's beautiful. But I can't lose myself in that because as soon as I lose myself in that, all of that it doesn't matter what I'm doing anymore.
I feel like those things I think they always shape you. Yeah. And I don't care what anybody has to say. Like we're in a world where we don't want recognition. But it's nice to know that somebody says, "You know what, that they feel like that, raw, you're actually making an impact." Because for you, there's times where you're going through doing what you're doing, and sometimes it's a struggle to get out of bed to actually do 100%. Do you know what I mean? And you're not asking for the world to feel sorry for you. You get on with it. Do you know what I mean? So it's nice to receive that recognition, and I think it's always nice for us to see, because if I even take it biblically, we're doing God's work in different ways. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know what little conversation that you might have with that 5-year-old, that 6-year-old, that later on down the line, you know what, Lani taught me that.
Could be the difference.
And it could be the difference
and that's my thing. Why not be celebrated? You're not doing it to be celebrated.
Facts.
But if someone wants to celebrate you, I'm similar to you. I don't do things for recognition. I just do it to help. I think we're very similar in that respect. But sometimes what your
people
work,
see,
and
you don't know who's watching.
This is it. And sometimes the good work that you do and the impact that you're making should be celebrated. I agree, it should be. It might not be all the time, but when it's there, be celebrated because you're doing a good thing. And as I said, like you don't know the impact that Ace is making. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that is made. Do you get what I mean? Like that's true. Your academy, what you're doing, if one make it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
If one make it to the women's prem or the males prem, they're gonna remember you.
Yeah,
I promise you, they're gonna remember you.
Just the one.
Because this is, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So sometimes be celebrated. I feel like you should just accept it because, as I said, the world that we live in, it's very celebrating people now. And as I said, their opinions on everyone, it's not regular. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? So let's make it, if you get it, accept it, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But just a quick off topic, what do you think it is about us why we are like that? That as people.
What, the whole like recognition thing?
No, the kind of like the let's say for us example, I don't feel like we like for prime example, right? I got nominated for something, and I won't say the award, but a great award, right? But they ask you to get people to vote now. Right. Now you've been nominated to vote for you.
Yeah.
And I said to them respectfully,
I'm not
gonna do that because my validation comes from God. I'm not trying to get people. But it's like, what do you think it is why we don't like that recognition side of things? Because I'd kind of just want to just get on and do what I'm doing.
I just think because you're not doing it for that. Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like, you see, like, as I said, we're very similar. All of us are very similar. Like, you're doing it to help.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, award or no award, I'm still gonna do it to help. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that's my thing. You can give me the best award, I'm still gonna help. You don't have to give me anything. I'm still gonna help. Because so that's why I feel like it's different for us. Like, we're not in it for that. Do you know what I'm saying? But if it comes, I'm not gonna not accept it, but I'm still in it to help people and to try and elevate and encourage and bless. That's why I think it is. Do you know what I mean? It's just our mindsets and our hearts are different. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that same point that you said about I've seen people get voted and come on guys, everyone vote and try and. I don't think I would tell anyone to vote. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
it's a bit mad for me.
I'm like, if I get it, I get it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna go out and try and promote people to vote for me to win.
I'm not saying
something.
it's a bad thing for people.
There ain't.
I'm not saying that.
I just think it's not in our nature to do that. Like, if we win it, like you won it, it's gonna be like that, organically. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So,
agreed.
So then, Powerhouse Project. Talk to us.
Yeah, Powerhouse Project. Shout out Rosie and Molly Commuter. I was on cohort 2.
Yep.
And again, just like what we said, I don't go searching for things.
Yeah.
It just kind of the opportunities come to me.
Yeah.
And that's when I know that it's for me.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's certain things like I sound silly if I say like I'm talking about like if I see a job and I apply for a job.
Of course.
But I'm talking about things like the Powerhouse Project.
Yeah.
It came to me, and that's when I knew it was the right thing for me to do. So I was on. Someone DM'd me on Twitter. I can't remember who it is. I can't to this day remember who it is. And they sent me basically like the bio where they were saying we're looking for a cohort of coaches. You have to have all of this, like your level 2, and I wish I had my level 2, and at this point I had my level 2, and I was like, all right, cool. Like, remember this was cohort 2. They'd only had one cohort before that, so it wasn't really as what it is now, where people go on there and they can really understand like the ethos of the Powerhouse Project. But I clicked on it anyways. I was like, you know, I'm gonna submit my application. The next day, Rosie Commuter called me and was like, nice to meet you. Started explaining a bit more about like what they're trying to do. So essentially the Powerhouse Project is the umbrella, and then they run all these programs within that to support women in the game. So they have like a media program, they have like a UEFA B prep program, they have loads of programs, but it's the number one is women in the game. So the program that I was applying for was essentially a UEFA B prep program. So it's like a 12-week program. It puts you through your paces, preparing you to do your UEFA B. And then when you are successful in getting onto your UEFA B, they fund it. And as you know right now, the higher you go up in your coaching badges, it's expensive.
Oh, man,
UEFA B is so hard to afford, especially with women. We're not, a lot of women aren't part of like no PFA and stuff. So we don't get funded or half that. You have to, it's harder. So I was like, all right, cool. So Rosie's on the phone to me, like she's talking me through it, and then she was like, "Oh, we just need you to like submit like a video, like a 60-second video, talk a bit about yourself, like your love of the game." sent it to her. She was like, yeah, we want you. Like, she's like, we want you on this cohort. And then she gave me the dates. Now, remember, I'm working in a school, so you don't get annual leave. You're off when the kids are off.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But again, it's not. You see, if you leave, I believe in not burning bridges, and you work with people the right way. I always give 110% to whatever I do. So as much as I was in the PE department, if they need me to cover a math lesson, I would do it.
Yeah.
If they needed me to do the English lesson, I would do it. I'd go on school trips that weren't even sports trips. So when Rosie gave me the dates, I was like, okay, I got to put this to the school and see what they could. Basically, I needed like every Friday off for like a 12-week period. I went to the head teacher, I explained it to her. She was like, no problem. Like, she didn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
She was like, Lani, no problem. Like, it's not a problem. Just make sure you're covered.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, we won't pay you for the time that you're off. It'll be unpaid. I said, no problem at all. Like, it's fine. I get that. But they let me go and do it.
Wow.
I was on that cohort 2 was a brilliant cohort. Like, it was it was nice being in a room of like-minded women.
Yep.
Like, I met, like, Jess King, like, she's one of my best friends now. And I met her we was on cohort 2 together.
Yep.
Shakira Waif, like, was another one. Like, we did everything together. Like, those 12 weeks, like, we really bonded. Like, we shared it. We spoke about things that we're talking about now, about like women in the industry and, you know, like, and the thing with Rosie and Molly, like, they went above and beyond to provide experiences for us. Like, we got a session in with Hope Powell and she showed us a finishing session, and then I got to interview her. Like Rosie called me and was like, I got an opportunity for you. Like, and I got to sit down with Hope and like have like my idol, like who I said at the start was like the woman that I looked up to. Yeah. I got to sit down with her, have a one-to-one conversation with her. Yeah. And it's so nice to see women like Rosie and Molly giving back to the women's game, and their representation of the women's game. Like, they were at West Ham and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And the amazing work that they're doing. And look at me now. Like, they pay for my UEFA B. I passed my UEFA B. Like, all that stuff. Like, that's and to the point where now, like, every time they see me, like, Rosie and Molly will always message me and be like, love, we can see what you're doing, we love it. Like, they still drop messages now to this day. So again, when it aligns with like the type of person you are, because it could easily have been a conveyor belt thing for them, where it's like, we just get you through, you do your thing,
and then
next. I've still done stuff with them like since I've graduated, and they're now on cohort, I think like 4 or 5, and I've still done stuff with them. Me and Jess like have gone up to SGP and done stuff with them. Like, it's a really nice thing to see these initiatives really taking full shape and full force, and long may it continue for them.
So did that help in terms of like with the FA mentee program and the regional talent manager?
Yeah, so when I think what was really good with the Powerhouse project was there was a long period of time where I was just like, I'm not bothering with these badges, because it was just so hard to get on my B. Yeah. I had my level 2 for like 7 years. So it's now called UEFA C, but when I had it, was called level 2. That's how long ago I did it, like for 7-8 years, I just couldn't get on my B license, And I just got disheartened. I was like, I give up. So when this opportunity came, like, Powerhouse project, like, reignited that I can, you can go after your B and we'll support you. Don't worry about that, the financial burden, we'll support you. And I came out of the 12 weeks and I said, you know what, I still felt like I needed a little bit more development. And again, this is just tough, but there's a lot of coaches out there that I call them badge hoppers. They just go from level 1, level 2, UEFA B, A license. But then what have they really learned from it? What have they put to like learn into their working environments? A lot of the time, not. And I came out of that Powerhouse bit and I was like, I don't think I'm ready to do my B license just yet, but I know the money's there when I am. I feel like I need a little bit more development. And that's when the FA mentee program came up, and I applied for the FA mentee program. Again, had to go through like the interview process. I was in America filming my interview video. I was on holiday, but I was like, I feel like this program will really be beneficial to me. Got onto the program, and again, it just added to my development as a coach, understanding me, the type of person that I am, and the things that align with me, what I want to go after. And like, I think what was really nice about the FA mentee program, it was like showing you that like, it's not always just about being the coach. Like, there's so many industries and avenues within football that you can go after. Like, there's nothing wrong if your ambition is to be an assistant manager. Like, that's okay. Like, if that's your ambition. And that's what I started to learn. Yeah. And then in the midst of being on that program, Butch Fazal, who's like, he runs the program, called me. He's like, Ace, I got you on your B. Like we need to talk. Like, come on now, we need to submit the application. I'll support. And then I got on my B, and like the rest is history. I was on my B, and my mentor Paul Williams, who was my mentor in the mentee program, still my mentor now. Messaged me for Christmas last week, like, and it's things like that, and that's the power of being around the right like-minded people. Because when you do have those moments of when you're stressed or you're down and you can't get out of bed, it's those people that will pick you back up.
That's big.
Let me ask you a question because I want to see if your answer's the same as mine. So I've got my UEFA B as well.
Yeah.
And after you done that, was your mindset different about football? Because what I as a player, Kerry, like, you look at it from a player's mindset. As soon as I done that, I started looking at it from like a manager and a coaching mindset.
Yeah.
It's like, and you know, like sometimes when managers make certain decisions, I can actually understand now. Okay, okay, you done that because of that, and and how was your experience with both? Yeah,
so we were based at Dartford Football Club when I did my B license. So when we were doing like the practical side, it was with like the academy boys, like 16 to 18, feral, like bag of energy. I learned about myself as a coach that like I can coach players. Like it doesn't matter if they're 17. Don't get me wrong, the boys will try and run banter, but only as far as you let them run the banter. Like once I was like, no, we're not doing this. Like we just won't train. They're like, oh, okay, she's not on it. Like let's actually apply ourselves. But I think what I learned so much more about the game was the tactical side that I don't think I had looked at prior to that. Like with your level 1, level 2, I think it's more about the player development, like the skill set and all of that stuff. Once you start getting to your B, it's like tactically,
like transitions,
units of play and transitions and things like that. And now I'm starting to like, oh, okay, cool. So if I want to play this formation and I don't have this like set of players, this formation may not work for them because, you know, if we're playing with wing backs, I may not have the players that have the capacity to play wing back. So sometimes you can't be rigid and I'm going to play a 3-5-2 if you don't have the cohort of players to play a 3-5-2. So I started to learn the game more tactically, which was really, really nice for me because as much as like Ace Development Academy is very community based, my players were really benefiting from what I was learning because I'm coming back and I'm testing it out on them. Obviously making it age appropriate, but like now the language that I'm using in sessions and stuff, they're like, oh, like I weren't really using that language before. So I think that's the power of doing your badges. Like you've got to take the learning and apply it to your day to day.
100%.
Otherwise, what's the point of going on these courses and doing these?
And another thing which I learned as well is that just because someone's coaching skills are different to yours don't mean they're wrong. Do you know what I mean? You could be very quiet. I could be very loud. You could be in between. But just as long as you get the point across, it doesn't matter. Because not every coach is going to be the same. Do you get what I'm saying? Some people are more vocal. Some people are more quiet with it. But if you can get your point across and the coaching across, then that's what really stuck out to me. Because we on my course, we had so much different variety of people. We had more confident people. We had people that wasn't so confident. But it doesn't mean that they're not good coaches. Do you get what I'm trying to say? 100%. It's just about getting your point across to your players. Like, so that's
but
one
good
thing.
managers know their staff. And, you know, even me with Ace and the coaches that I have, I know what their strengths and weaknesses are. You have to. So, you know, I know that if I'm going to be away for a particular weekend, who I'm passing certain responsibilities onto and who I'm not. Now, it's not saying that the other person's not capable, but I want my coaches to feel comfortable in their environment. So it's about giving them where they strive and then help and support them
100%.
where they're weak.
I agree.
I have my strengths and my weaknesses. So essentially I learn from my coaches as well. And I think sometimes there's certain managers that step into that role and they're like, I'm the manager, so they're very rigid.
I agree.
And that formula may work for them. But I feel like being a manager means, one, you got to lead by example. I would never ask my coaches to do something I wouldn't be willing to do myself. So, for example, if it's pouring down with rain, even when I was a head of sport at the school I was at, it's pouring down, I'm outside with my staff. I'm not sitting in the office and they're outside teaching them. I'm out there with them, with my hood up, getting soaked, picking up cones, because that's where the respect element comes in. And I think that is a losing art as well. I think some people get to the top and then feel they
Change.
forget where they started.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, yeah, now you're going to do that now. And I'm like, well, why don't you support them do it?
Yeah.
There's a time and place for everything, but I think it's that, and that's what I think I learned the most was about the tactical side of the game, and then how players fit into that tactically, and that will help you with like how you have your relationships, the holistic player, because if you understand tactically what you're trying to achieve, then your team will buy into it. And that's where I think they come back to that, you know, Palace bin, when you just throw me in midfield. That could have been a tactical thing that managers saw. But as a player at the time, you haven't explained it to me. So I'm just like, you're just throwing me in the middle of nowhere. So now I'm very like, when I'm speaking to my players, if we are changing anything or if a sub is going to happen, or you explain those things. You be transparent with your players, and the likelihood that they're going to respond to it.
Well, that segues in good because we're deep into injury time now. So, but I do want to talk about where you're at now. Quickly. It's come full circle now. You're at Palace now.
Yeah, I'm at Palace now.
So, do you want to talk to us and tell us what you're doing there?
Yeah, so I'm at Palace for Life Foundation as a football development coordinator for post-16. So it's a new role. I've only just come into it. I've probably been there like 4 weeks now, actually. It's gone really quick. I love like new initiatives and new projects. And Palace had a post-16 before, kind of dismantled, and they've decided they you know, clean slate, they want to go again. So, you know, it's a clean canvas. I'm working with like some amazing people, like real thought-provoking people within the game. It's for boys and girls. They're allowing me to come in with my fresh ideas, with like the spaces I've been in, with like, you know, and all the spaces I've been in, from education to the FA and all of that stuff, and coaching abroad. So it's a really exciting time because it's kicking off September 2026. So between now and then, like, we have all this time and resources like to go and like really put something together, which is really nice. And Palace is a very beautiful club in the sense of that, like, what they believe in, the power of football and how it can benefit the community, really aligns with a lot of stuff I morally believe in. So it's really nice to work with like-minded people that really see the benefit of football, because I think people don't realise that football's so powerful. It's such a powerful tool that can, for me, has shaped me in so many ways. And being in that environment, like I said, with Palace, like, I think it's really interesting. There's a lot of people in football who love football, and there's certain clubs that they love regardless whether they support them or not. And Palace is one of those clubs. Like, as an Arsenal fan, I'm a diehard Arsenal fan, but I love to see Palace doing well. And I think it comes from because of the way Palace give back to the community. So it's just nice to now have that, like, hat on as a career hat and be like, like, I've got my South London and Proud bottle and then got my Arsenal bottle next to it. So it's nice. It's really nice.
Lani, thank you so much for coming on, man. We really appreciate you. Now, we do a game before you leave.
Okay.
But one of the questions that we always ask our guests before we leave is, what advice would you give to somebody that's struggling?
That's a good question.
Put you on the spot there.
You really have.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a loaded question. What advice I give to somebody who's struggling? As cliche as it sounds, talk to someone. And it may not be somebody in your circle. Because sometimes, you know, we have that fear of judgment. Just talk to someone. But there's so many resources, services out there now. You can even just pick up your phone and call somebody. But talk to someone. I think a problem shared is a problem halved. So
that's brilliant.
Love it.
So we've got our quiz now, right? So
okay.
What now? Let's get the boards up now.
All right.
Miles likes to talk about Arsenal a lot, so it's an Arsenal quiz.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? That's not fair. That's not fair.
But you seem to talk about Arsenal quite
See
a bit.
what I'm saying? Trying to set me up already.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing against, what, 2 against 1?
No,
It's
it's just 5 questions. It's just 5 questions. It was just 5 questions. That's all it is. So don't worry about that. It's okay. All right, cool.
Man said the Arsenal quiz, you know.
Right. So the first question. Right. Following Declan Rice's 2 incredible free kicks against Real Madrid at the Emirates in April 2025, who scored Arsenal's 3rd goal?
Wait. Yeah, okay.
Yeah?
I'm going to guess. I don't know, but I'm going to guess. Lani, if you get any wrong, you know.
Are they all Arsenal questions?
Yeah, all Arsenal questions.
Sir.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Upon breaking the Arsenal goal-scoring record with his 179th Gunners goal Ian Wright unveiled a T-shirt that said what? I did it, just done it, keep doing it, or never stop.
God, Kerry, man.
Say the answers again.
Yeah, sure. I did it, just done it, keep doing it, never stop.
I remember the vest as well.
I remember the vest. I don't remember what was on the vest. I don't know. I'm gonna guess.
This one's quite difficult.
All right.
Oh my God, guessing. You know.
Which Gooner is the only player to have been awarded first, second, and third in one BBC Goal of the Month competition?
Oh my word.
Dennis Bergkamp, Jack Wilshere, Olivier Giroud, or Thierry Henry?
First, second, and third.
Yeah.
They got awarded all three.
Yeah.
Say
Goal of the month.
the players again.
Dennis Bergkamp,
Mm-hmm.
Jack Wilshere, Olivier Giroud, and Thierry Henry.
I'm just guessing, by the way. So
Yep.
I'm
Same. I don't know, so I'm guessing.
Yep. Okay. Next one. Michael Thomas scored the second goal against Liverpool in 1989
Bro, I wasn't even
to
born.
clinch Arsenal's title. Who scored the first?
I wasn't even born.
So I had to make it a bit fair, innit? Alan Smith, Michael Thomas, Paul Merson, or Tony Adams?
scored the first.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna guess this one,
Same.
but I know errors in it. So
Ah man, that's when they were still at Highbury.
yeah,
Like yeah,
Years
I
ago.
wasn't even
I'm gonna
I
just
wasn't even
guess that
thought
one.
about then 1989.
Okay. How many are now?
Number
4.
5.
Yeah, this is number 5, yeah?
Mhm.
Very cool. I want to try and make it more. Who was the first Brazilian to play for Arsenal? Think about this. Julio Baptista, Gilberto Silva, Edu, or Silvinho?
Oh my God! Whoa! Say that again. Say the names again.
Edu, Gilberto Silva, Julio Baptista, or Silvinho?
I know I'm gonna.
I'm guessing, but I feel like I got this wrong.
Okay, cool. Right. First question. Following Declan Rice's 2 incredible free kicks against Real Madrid, who scored the Arsenal's third? The answer is Mikel Merino.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I got that.
God! I thought it was Saka. Saka scored in the net against
In the net,
PSG.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Upon
God!
breaking the record, Arsenal's goal scoring record, Ian Wright's T-shirt said, "Just done it."
Yeah, I got that.
I got that.
Yeah?
That as well. That's a
Okay,
guess.
cool.
I'm not gonna lie.
Which Gooner is the only player to be awarded the first, second, and third BBC goal competition? The answer is Dennis Bergkamp.
Oh, I put
Yes,
Wilshere.
I got that. I got
I put
Bergkamp.
Jack Wilshere.
I was thinking this guy used to score some mad goals. He had to be him.
The goal scorer that scored the first goal.
Tony Adams. Was it Tony Adams?
Adam Smith.
It was Adam Smith.
Oh,
I knew it. The error. I'm thinking
I
he's
thought it
old
was Tony
school.
Adams.
No, because
And
he
the
said
last one,
yeah, he's old school. That's why I
the
was
first Brazilian to play for Arsenal. What did you put?
I put Edu.
Silvinho.
It was Silvinho.
Oh,
Lordy, I'm the real Arsenal fan.
No, it's not that. I had to give you
See, you
some.
tried to set me up.
No, I tried to give you. I
tried to
had to
set me
make
up.
it fair because I had to give some older ones as well, just so you'd actually have a chance. Yes, so well done, well done.
okay.
This is upsetting you. Know?
Yeah, it's painful.
I'm
It's
sorry,
ruined my
I'm
spirit.
so
No,
sorry.
it's fine. It's fine.
I'm
we're
so
we're gonna do
sorry,
another
bro.
one anyway. It's all right. It's all right.
I'm so sorry.
Lenny, thank you again, once again, Lani,
Thank
for
you.
coming
No,
on.
thank you for
man.
having me,
Listen,
guys.
We appreciate you, man.
Anybody listening to this, like if you are looking for any support or anything like that, you do know that we've got our mental health resources page on the website, which is www.thesetpiecePodcast.com. If you are interested in becoming a person that wants to either be on the show or wants to actually just get some information about the show, how you can support and everything like that, definitely send us an email and info@thesetpiece podcast.com. And as Lani said, like, talk to somebody. If you are struggling, if you are feeling that you need some support, please feel like you can talk to somebody. And if there's anything that we can support with, send us an email, send us a DM or something like that, and let's see how we can support. I'm Kerry Phillips.
I'm Miles Weston.
And this is the Set Piece Podcast.
If you've been affected by anything discussed in this episode, we encourage you to seek support. Visit our mental health resources page at www.thesetpiecepodcast.com for help, guidance, and more information. Because when it comes to mental health, every mind deserves extra time.